Hi there, so a few of you have been asking for a video update and asking, Adam, what happened to your YouTube channel? And the answer is, I've just been really busy and really tired with all of the language study and figuring out what my role is here with OMF and my role in the local churches. It's been a really busy and tiring time, and the video that I've been planning to release is all about the church weekend away where we went into the mountains, but it requires quite a lot of editing and I've just not had the energy or time to do it. So in the meantime, here is a short, fairly simple video about my apartment, which I moved into just over a month ago. And so let's have a bit of an apartment tour. First thing to notice is I had to turn the key the other way to what I'm used to doing in the UK, but that is a-okay. And then here as we enter, we have this little area for taking off your shoes. It's a bit like a porch and shoe changing area known as a genkan. Taking off your shoes before you enter someone's house or most other places is actually really important here in Japan. And so that's what we're going to do right now. And then of course you put on your slippers. I'm filming this video actually after trying to go to the gym, attempting to go to the gym, I should say. And the reason for saying attempting to is that it turns out the gym is closed on Wednesdays, which is a great disappointment to me. But an example of this kind of shoe taking off culture is that you need proper gym shoes even to go to the gym. You need indoor shoes for that kind of activity. So I had to bring my gym shoes with me as well. And so we put our shoes away in our little shoe cabinet and we take a look at the rest of the apartment. What do we have here? We have a fairly steep staircase of 14 stairs. I know it's 14 because I'm the kind of person who can't help but count the number of stairs on a staircase whenever I walk up it. And then we have a little hallway area, and on the left we have my water closet, my lavatory, which has one of those cool Japanese toilets which are really efficient on water because when you flush, the cistern is filled with the water that you use for washing your hands. It also has some kind of high-tech bidet system which I've just unplugged, to be honest, because I'm not planning on using that. But it's not so high-tech that it talks at you like some Japanese toilets do. I find that would probably freak me out a little bit, to be honest. And then here, just across the way, we have a sliding door, which shows us into my washroom, which is separate from the toilet. And so we have a washroom area with a sink, which extends all the things you might need, and of course a washing machine, which unlike in the UK, you actually load from the top. It's more space efficient that way. And also a really big change to the UK is that in Japan, basically all washing machines are cold water only. They have no heating element in them. So all your washes are cold. It's much more energy efficient that way. But if you do get stains on your clothes, you need to wash them by hand and try and get that stain out first. And of course, the dreaded bathroom scales, which tell me just how much weight I'm not losing or am gaining. And then we have my shower room. And so in the shower room, you have the first area, which is where you would take your shower. You'd wash your body here. And then if you wanted to have a bath, and it is quite a spacious bath, to be honest, there's plenty of room to fit into the tub. If you wanted to have a bath, you would clean yourself first, and the bath really is not used for washing at all. It's used for relaxing in and keeping warm in. And because of that, the baths here, at least in this apartment, actually have an ability to keep water warm because it has heating elements inside the bath. So you can fill up your bath with hot water in the morning, leave it filled with water throughout the day, and then warm the bath up or keep it warm all day long. And up above me, we actually see a kind of extraction fan and a laundry rail. That's not a shower curtain. You won't fit two people in this room. And that's because in the winter, when things are really cold, this is the room in which you're going to be drying all of your clothes. And so out of the bathroom, cool sliding door, just grab my bag. We come to the LDK. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, essentially, Japanese apartments are described using a number LDK system. The LDK stands for living room, dining room, kitchen, or just dining room, kitchen if it's DK. So this apartment is a 1 LDK. It means it has a living dining room kitchen, which is what we're going to see around me in a moment, and one additional room, either a study or a bedroom or something similar. And the way that apartments are also measured in Japan is not just using this 1 LDK system, so living, dining, kitchen plus 1 room, or 2 LDK, 2 bedrooms and a living, dining, kitchen area, or 3 LDK, 3 bedrooms, a living, dining, kitchen area. But also, rather than using square meters, they actually use the number of tatami mats that you can fit on the floor. So for this apartment, my living, dining, kitchen room is about 10 tatami mats. My bedroom, the 1 in the 1 LDK, is about 6 tatami mats. The only slight problem with that system is that tatami mat sizes are not consistent across Japan. And so depending on where you live, the size of these rooms could actually change a little bit, but not too much. So what does a 10 tatami mat LDK look like? Well, behold my living, dining, kitchen room. Let me just put some more lights on here. Came through the hallway, and here we have my kitchen. We have my sink, which has all the flexible kind of things, and you can see some washing, drying from earlier. And it was at this sink which I had my worst day so far here in Japan. And what was so bad about that day, you ask? Well, it was a tough day of language learning. I got back to my apartment at about 3 p.m. I stood here in front of the sink, and then I realized my feet were getting wet, and there was water coming up between the floorboards. Cue my panic, cue my realizing I didn't know how to fix this, or how to even start to fix it, or even where I could turn the water off. Cue also, I didn't know who to call, and if I did call them, I don't know enough Japanese yet to know what to say. So of course you'd call your boss, right? Except the boss was in hospital for a few nights having routine checkups. So I couldn't even contact the boss, and I couldn't get hold of his wife, the other missionary here. And yeah, I felt deeply humbled. I've been praying that when I come to Japan, one of the things the Lord will be doing in my heart is humbling me before him and making me rely on him and other people. But being in that situation, yeah, it was not great. Be careful what you pray for, saints. So what does the rest of my kitchen look like? Well, essentially we have our gas hobs and we have our fish grill. This entire counter is actually for different kinds of recycling and rubbish, because the recycling and rubbish system in Japan is, let's say, complicated. Maybe I'll do a video on that as well at some point. But yeah, it's a nice little functional kitchen, but not a lot of space to actually prepare any food beyond the cooking itself. I moved the rice cooker or kettle onto here, and then there's not really a lot of room to do anything else. Just across from the kitchen, we have a little closet, which is where I'm going to hang up my bag. And of course, I've hung up my other bags in here as well. And it's here that we have my snazzy, slightly pink vacuum cleaner, because a lot of the things in this apartment were actually bought secondhand at various secondhand stores here in Japan. And then some of the rest of it was bought on Amazon or brand new from IKEA style shops here in Japan. This vacuum cleaner, really good price. The colour, it's not amazing, but it didn't bother me too much given what it was offering. So here we have my dining and living room, or really my living / workspace and my home gym. You'll notice I haven't actually bothered with a sofa. I don't really have anyone to come round, and so if I'm going to relax on an evening, I'll probably watch some YouTube videos or some Age of Empires gameplay on my laptop over there. Little bookcase, of course, a beautiful, beautiful OMF map of the prayer points. I'm sure you can get your hands on one of those at an OMF event. And here we have, in this very tight area, the sunroom, as it was called on the plans. Essentially, this is a little area in which you can hang your washing in the summer for it to dry. Talking of recycling, I need to figure out exactly where to take all of that. And yeah, it's a nice view from my apartment with the mountains in the background and a very Japanese looking area. This is actually not a normal coffee table at all. It's what's called a kotatsu. And so this top of it actually lifts off and a blanket goes underneath that and over the floor around it. You sit on those cushions, your legs go underneath because underneath it is a heater. And so when there's 6 foot, 9 foot of snow outside and it's freezing cold, this is a great place to have your meal and keep warm. So that's my living, dining and kitchen room. But what about the one in my 1LDK? Well, that's this room here. Essentially, I'm using it as a bedroom. Behold my bed. Each morning it goes back like this, somewhere in the room. I'm not very consistent. And I lay it out. It's just a futon. It works perfectly fine for me. Speaking of pink things though, I saw that fan in a second-hand shop and I thought, you know what? The colour's not great, but having a bladeless fan is so cool. I need that in my life. And so we got a pink fan. Luigi insisted that pink curtains would go to match with it, and who was I to disagree? Oh well, never mind. And then we have my closets. Actually quite a bit of space in these closets, but one thing you'll notice is that all of my cabinets, they're actually about 5 centimeters or more away from the walls, and that's because in summer it's really hot and humid here, and so you don't want to have things against the wall where humidity and damp can start to gather and accumulate. And so yeah, that is my 1LDK apartment. It's got a few other nice touches as well. So nearly all of the light switches actually have a little green light on when they're turned off. So in the dark at night, you can see where all the light switches are that you need to touch to get to places. This apartment is about a 20-minute walk from the church where I have my language lessons and various other ministries taking place. It's about a 3-minute walk from a 24/7 supermarket and about a 3-minute walk, if that, from a really good takeout place called Hotomoto, which does wonderful hot bento boxes for only about 550 yen, about £2.50, something like that. This apartment is actually a bit bigger than I expected, and I feel quite blessed by that, but it's still well within the budget that OMF prepared and said might be reasonable for an apartment. Essentially, each month this apartment costs me, in UK money, about £290. And then of course on top of that you have various utility bills as well. But for £290 at a really nice location on a really nice road with lots of nice houses and things, 20 minutes from the church, yeah, I think it's a really nice place to be, and having lived here for over a month now, I'm really happy here. The water leak wasn't great, but it was fixed the next day, and I found out an English language hotline I can call from the company who run the apartment. It'll be interesting in winter when things are a lot colder. One of the things I still need to buy is a proper heater, because you don't want to be heating your apartment on the aircon, because that will cost an absolute fortune. But we'll see how I deal with the cold when we get to that. At the moment, most Japanese people have started wearing jumpers and cardigans and saying how cold it is because it's finally autumn and the temperature's dropped below 30 degrees. It's only 22 degrees Celsius at the most. I'm still here in shorts and t-shirt, so we'll see just how it is when things get really cold and the snow comes in. Well, hopefully you enjoyed seeing the apartment and a few little things about how Japanese apartments work, like the LDK system and roughly how much it costs. And I hope that you're all having a blessed time back in the UK and elsewhere around the world. Hopefully I'll have that video on the church weekend away up soon. I just really need the energy and the time at the same time to be able to work on that. God bless.